Hey, good morning, Jacques. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. I'm talking to Garth Brooks.
Entering his second year as the LSU head football coach.
It was the only way I could get a foot in the door.
Joined by the icon, Kim Mulkey. Hey, Coach, great to see you.
All right, we're in the home of the legend, Kim Mulkey, LSU women's head basketball coach. Just completed her 4th year with the Tigers. Has time flown by? You just sat down the other day when you got hired, it feels like.
It goes by fast.
Yeah.
It really does.
How do you reflect on this past year? You know, when they hired you, if they'd say, we're going to go to the Elite Eight next year, you know.
Well, Jacques, when I was hired, I didn't put a time frame nor how far we're going to go in the playoffs out there. What I did is I said I came home to be a positive. I came home to hang a national championship banner. I couldn't envision that we would have won that championship in year 2. Honestly, couldn't envision going to Elite Eights 3 years in a row. But you want to become relevant. And that was the whole purpose of coming back, was to help bring the program back to a level that it was. And I think we have done that, and we've done it quickly. And I'm one that can keep perspective. I understand what's going on in collegiate athletics right now, and you either adapt or you die. You either adapt or you get out and retire, and I think you're seeing a lot of coaches do that.
Yeah. As a coach once told me, these are the rules of engagement. We either have to get on board or we get left behind.
True, that is true, and we don't have to like them. Some I do like, but as I said, you either adapt or you retire.
Well, and looking at that, so UCLA, the team you play, they go to the Final Four. There's 6 young ladies who hit the portal. Instead of, you'd think the thinking would be, we made it to the Final Four, let's try to do it again and see if we can win the thing. Instead, it's not that thinking at all.
Well, times have changed, and it's not just in women's basketball, it's in men's basketball. People are losing their entire rosters. And it's just happening right here before our very eyes. It's a time that I don't think any of us saw this coming, and nor do I know when it's going to stop. So what you have to keep doing is, for every player you lose, you got to keep bringing in new players. And I think you said it best. Each year, you're potentially going to have a new team when you step out there on that court.
Well, and I'm not saying this just because you're sitting here. I brought this up the other day. A lot of people say, well, the coaches have always been able to leave, so why can't the players do the same thing? But you, for example, you've had 3 jobs since 1985?
I have not packed my suitcase very much. A lot of coaches do. A lot of coaches have to, because they get fired or something happens, but I've been very blessed. I coached at Louisiana Tech for 19 years. I was there 15 as a coach, 4 as a player. Went to Baylor University and coached there for 21 years. And just finished my 4th year at LSU. And those were choices that I made because I always believe timing is everything in life. You don't leave a place unless it's the right time to go do something else at another place. I don't believe necessarily that the grass is greener at other places. I believe water that grass where you are. And I think at each place I have watered the grass. And that was my purpose for even leaving Louisiana Tech. I went from being an assistant to a head coach. Yeah. And then to leave Baylor was to come back home. It wasn't for more money. It wasn't for well, I'm mad, I'm tired, let's move on. It wasn't anything. It was the right time to do something in my life in the area of giving back. And coming back home was the thing to do.
She just wanted a 5-year contract. And that 1 year at Louisiana Tech made a big difference.
Well, it did. And you know, listen, thank God for unanswered prayers. Always remember that, and I always believe things happen for a reason. We don't realize it in the moment, but you see later in life. I left Louisiana Tech over a 5-year contract, not more money. I just felt like I had already spent 15 years in the state retirement system, and 5 years would have had me fully invested, and it mattered. I was following in the footsteps of a legend, Leon Barmore.
Right.
And so what do you want? You want security, not about what your pay is going to be. You want security. And I just couldn't see me having spent all those years at Louisiana Tech. They watched me grow up in that program. They watched me turn down 3 head jobs. I couldn't understand why I wasn't worth 5 years. 5 years was starting to be given to other coaches. In fact, our second assistant at Louisiana Tech had left and went to Purdue and got a 5-year contract. So it wasn't unheard of. It was just a principal reason, and I begged, I pleaded, I cried, I did everything I could to stay there. And it just wasn't meant to be. And I go to Baylor and roll my sleeves up and get to work, and boy, did we create something special there.
Well, I don't want to do the same interview all over again that I did with you before, but I think I brought it up to you. Could you have done at Louisiana Tech what you did at Baylor? And you said it might have been challenging because they weren't a Power 5 school.
Well, I don't know. At that time, that was not important. At that time, the Power 5 schools had not really taken over all sports on the collegiate level. So I don't know. I can tell you, I'm just a little country girl that loyalty could also be a fault of mine. And had I gotten that 5-year contract, I would have stayed at Louisiana Tech. Who knows how long I would have stayed at Louisiana Tech, but that was the sticking point.
You wouldn't have been wearing a blue outfit, winning a national championship at Baylor, perhaps, as quickly as you did.
Well, who knows, but life has a way of taking little curves and little detours, but you just keep on keeping on.
Well, so I'm interviewing Kramer the other day, which, I feel like, I don't feel like I need to say who that is, but there might be one person out there, everyone's a Kramer Roberts and Kim Mulkey's son, or now maybe, vice versa or whatever. He made a name for himself at LSU.
Yes, he did. Had a great career, loves LSU, just absolutely loves LSU.
And he's working there now.
He is. He's working in the athletic department.
Kelly's in and Verge, they're kicking him in the pants a little bit, they're putting him to work.
Well, he loves it. It's something he needed to have happen because his baseball career, was ending and it was over, and you kind of go through some depression there. I don't know if depression's the right word, but you go through low moments like, what am I going to do now? And what better place to work than his alma mater and the place he loves?
Well, everyone has to deal with that, whether you're like me and sat the bench on the high school team, or you're Drew Brees or Tom Brady and play into your 40s. You either retire or the game retires you. And that's always something, when the cheers stop, right? How do you deal with that?
Well, I think in Kramer's situation, he had played the game since he was 3 years old, and that's all he's ever known. He grew up with a mom that coached at the highest level, all he's ever known, and now all of a sudden you don't feel wanted, maybe is a good word. It's like, I'm not good enough anymore. I know the thoughts that go through a young person's mind, but it's like I told him, you knew this day was coming. What you didn't know is when. Mm-hmm. It came too quickly in your mind. So now take your time and it'll happen for you. And it's just the next phase of life, and he's doing great and loves being at the games. I love seeing him working at all the events at LSU, and it's what we do. We pick ourselves up and move to that next phase.
So we did a sit down with him the other day, which really got a lot of great response. He told me he's heard from a lot of different people, and he says that women's basketball at LSU has the same expectations as football and baseball now. That if we win a national championship, or the season's a failure. I said, really? I said, you really feel that way? Because I think I feel that way. I mean, the year before you came, I think I told you there was a guy who would go to the games. He texted me. He said, I'm bored. I count. There's 321 people here. So from that to where you are now, and I told him this too, and obviously this is a compliment to you. When they hire Kim Mulkey and they say she's a 3-time national champion, and you win one in your second year at LSU, it kind of feels like, well, she's won 4 in 5 years. Well, it took 21 years to win 3 national championships at Baylor, right? And so these things, maybe there's an illusion that this just comes together that quickly, which it did.
Well, it did happen quickly. It happened quickly at Baylor. We did the first one at Baylor within 5 years, but there were 7 years in between those other championships. Gino Auriemma just won another one 5 years ago. They said he's washed up and needs to retire, and it was 9 years from his last championship until the one this year. You just don't spit them out. It is so hard to win championships. Everything has to go perfect, from injuries to everybody playing good. And you just never know if you're going to win one, and you certainly never know if you're going to win more than one. So I have been blessed. And what I'm able to do is I keep perspective. When fans can't keep perspective, coaches can keep perspective. You're at practice every day. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You know what has to take place. And sometimes the best teams don't win the championship. I've had that happen to me. I've had the best team in the country, and we didn't win it. But I've also had the team that wasn't supposed to win it several times. So I love what I do. I want people to come to the games, and I want them to have expectations. But they need to be fair, and they need to be real, and especially with what's going on now in collegiate athletics. You just have to understand.
So it's safe to say in year 2, you would not win a national championship without the portal at LSU, right?
Well, absolutely. I agree with that. I think we got some key pieces, but
the flip side is in year 4, you'd have a team of 30 or 40 players.
The perfect world for a coach is you go from that freshman year to that big sophomore year. Now you're feeling more comfortable your junior, your senior year, and those upperclassmen lead the younger class. You don't have that anymore. So you have to go back to what I said earlier. You have to adapt. We're going to continue to recruit the high school players, but you have to mix in players out of the portal. You just have to do that. Mm-hmm. And we were very fortunate and won it in year 2, but I don't believe that you're going to see back-to-back-to-backs anymore. It's too hard with everybody leaving. It's very hard, and if it happens, you can just count your blessings that, wow, I hit the lottery on some of these kids because they're staying 4 years.
Well, and like you said, I don't know if luck is the right word, but there's luck, unluck. You played Utah that year. You said the best team you played, the young lady, airball,
missed the free throw.
She's 90% free throw shooter. Jasmine Carson, I don't know if she made 7 3-pointers the whole tournament before that. She can't miss. But then when you play Iowa, Angel came out like a house of fire. Then she turned her ankle, and then she was never the same the rest of the game. So
right.
Those are the kind of
and keep perspective in that game. You're playing a team that was a 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
You're playing against Clark, who is just exploding that year. It wasn't like we were playing somebody that was a 4 and 5 seed. We were the underdog. We were not supposed to win that game, and we fought and lost by 7. Ironically, we lost by 7 this year in the Elite 8. So maybe 7 is an unlucky number in some respects, but lucky in that Morrow was the 7th pick, Angel Reese was the 7th pick. I'm not a gambler, but maybe 7 can be lucky and unlucky.
Well, you'll win by 7 next year to go to the Final Four, maybe. Or
there you go. You sound like these LSU fans.
National championship. So let's talk about, I think, no disrespect to anybody, but I think your addition has outweighed your subtraction so far in the portal. Let's start with you added 2 bigs. Kate Kaval, she comes from Notre Dame. You had a relationship with this young lady for a while in terms of recruiting her. She came from the Ukraine in 2021, I read. So what does she bring to the team?
Well, she's a big body. She's a good 6'5". She is somebody that started and played a lot of games at Notre Dame early as a freshman. If you look at her stats, for a freshman in a program that at one time was the #1 team in the country, you're impressed. The thing that jumped off the stat sheet for me for Kate this year was her offensive rebounding. For the minutes she played throughout the season, I thought, wow, this kid's going to go to the offensive board. She gives us a big post presence in there. People don't know this about her, but her older brother went to LSU. In fact, he may still be on campus doing some research in the field of study that he's in. But we're excited about Kate, and I know she's excited. It got down to us in Notre Dame, and this is what I tell coaches: when we lose players in recruiting, just don't burn bridges. Don't burn bridges. You never know when you may get that young lady back.
And also Amaya Joiner, I looked at her stats. She played a very good game against South Carolina. I noticed that. I mean, her team overall, they got beat pretty soundly. But what does she bring to the table?
What I like about her is she's just got that body that can be physical. She's a young lady that when you talk to her, she seems to have a hunger about her that I've been at East Carolina. I've done all I want to do at East Carolina. Kind of reminded me of my conversation with Anissa Morrow. They had won all the awards, been all conference, but there was something at a higher level that she wanted to play, and she wanted to see what it was like. And I think she could be that player that we got before anybody else could get to her. And I have certainly been rewarded in having a lot of players like that. I go back to my first national championship in 2005. We were not able to get the quote-unquote McDonald's All-Americans, the blue chip players. We had to beat the bushes for players who didn't have a number in front of their name, but man, they wanted to play the game, and the game meant something to them. And when I talked to her, I could just tell she just loves the game. I could tell that she was excited that LSU was recruiting her. And then you've seen the stats. She did everything from an individual standpoint that was impressive as well. But we're excited about her.
And there might be some exciting news at the end of the week. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We can't talk about that.
Well, there's always excitement when you have the portal. The portal, will close, and kids will still be making visits, and we certainly hope to sign a couple of more players. Recruiting never stops. It's something that you got to do year round now. And so we will be working. We've been working since the season's over. It's just, you got to make sure you take some time for yourself, because you'll burn out, because it's just constantly in the portal, out of the portal, bring them for visits. It never stops.
Well, we've heard from coaches say the portal was never really closed.
Well, the portal, this is the thing I'll say, the portal is always open, because people talk to people who talk to people who talk to people who put in a word for this one. It's the way it is now. And you never know.
Miracle Shepherd is the latest to depart. Any reaction on that?
Yeah, I love Miracle. I thought Miracle was a defensive stopper for us. She transferred after her freshman year from Mississippi State to us. She got injured early at a critical time. She was out a good 6 weeks with stress. I guess it was a reaction or fracture in the ankle area. And I hate it for her, because it put her behind, and she played catch up all year. But she wants to go somewhere else, and you have no choice. You've got 2 days, and that you can hold it until you put them in the portal. And she's the latest one, but she's not the only one.
Well, and then on one hand, I can say, well, what do you expect Samaya Smith to say in the locker room after the UCLA game? Yeah, I'm hitting the portal tomorrow, but at the same time, I mean, I'm kind of getting a question to everybody about next year, and what else you have next year. And she said, we got a lot to prove. We're looking forward to next year. And then I'm on the plane ride back, and she's in the portal. So, she can do obviously whatever she wants to, but it just seems like if you put a list of things in one column, why should you stay? Kim Mulkey's coaching me. Bob Starkey's coaching me. I won a national championship here. I've been to 2 more Elite Eights. The crowd is great. Took great care of me, right, when I injured my knee.
Well, Jacques, that used to be the reasons. It's not anymore. Let's be real. It's about money for many of them. How do you fault people who can go to other programs and get more NIL or collective money. So I don't have animosity. I don't have anger toward any of these players. What I want for them is happiness. Now, do I believe in my heart of hearts that you're going to be any more happier somewhere else? Maybe if you get more playing time. But as you see, not just at LSU, but across the country, starters are transferring. All Americans are transferring. So the reasons young people transfer and get in the portal now can be anywhere from money to playing time to I just graduated, I need a change. There is no finite reason why it's happening, but it's here. And as I said, we better adapt or die. So for every player that we lose, you hate it, but you bring somebody in. And my philosophy on that is bring in players that can help you continue to be relevant in women's basketball. And we feel like we're going to do that, and we're not done yet.
Right. No matter what, Poa was a big part of your championship team. She's got another year left. Del Rosario showed some promise, didn't quite work out. Who else am I?
And we brought Jersey in for
Jersey,
a year.
Barger. Yeah, Jersey.
Yeah.
I thought, well, she'd hit the weights in the off season and maybe get a little stronger to play down low, but I don't know where she's going or what she's going to do. But that's another.
Well, I usually learn from my coaches on where players end up. I don't do the portal. I don't do social media. So I either hear it from a coach or Kramer or somebody that sees it on social media. So you want all of them to do well. You really do. And I would think that all the players that are leaving here, each reasoning is going to be different. I don't think it's going to be something that any coach in America can tell you that they expected. I think you're shocked at some of them, honestly. And then some coaches are like, yeah, we wanted them to leave. I mean, it's just crazy, but we will keep on keeping on.
It has created a new season, like more excitement. Like used to be national championship games played, okay, we're done with women's basketball till it comes back around. But now with the portal, I mean, I am hearing from a lot of fans, hey, who are we getting? You think we can get this girl? You think we can get that? I mean, it is kind of like the NFL free agency, same kind of thing.
Yeah, and you love the interest from fans. You do. You're always welcome in the interest, but sometimes fans can be fanatical. They can be unreasonable. Imagine that at LSU, right? Just know our program will continue to make them proud. Whoever is in that Tiger uniform, in that PMAC, they're going to be proud of. They're going to play hard. And I hope that we add a few here of late in the portal, and we stay healthy, and everybody has a good summer. And see what happens in the fall.
When you're coaching these games in the PMAC, you're obviously locked in, you're in the zone. But I mean, do you ever take a look around and say, oh, look, there's 5 people dressed as me or wearing my coats, or, the atmosphere, it's not just a crowd, it's like some Mardi Gras parade or something, or an event.
Not when I'm on that court. When I come down that tunnel and shake the opponent's head coach's hand, I'm pretty much locked in on what's happening right there in that moment. When do I see fans? Of course, I see videos and photos that people send me, but sometimes driving, when I'm driving to the game at the PMAC and it's just people everywhere, you see the sparkles, and it's cute to me. And what's really cute and funny is when you see guys wearing the sparkle jacket, and I'll go, yes, this is caught on. But that's when I usually see it. It's not inside the PMAC.
There's a lot of gentlemen, 60, 65, older, that are wearing these jackets.
Hey, I love it. I love it. That's what you call a true man right there.
And now they're doing, once again, you're in the huddle, but they're doing these dance-offs where, like, one guy, he tries to dance and the other guy tries to outdance him. They put him up on the Jumbotron. And
yeah, I don't get to see that. I'm stressing in a huddle thinking about what we need to do on the court.
And your staff this year, Starkey, obviously, that was very exciting to bring him back. And, he recruited Simone, I guess, the better part of a quarter of a century ago.
Right,
and now she's on the staff. How did Simone do this year?
Well, Simone is quiet.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing I can tell Simone is continue to let us hear your voice. You have so much to share with young players. And this is your school. This is your city. You're just loved. And I want her to be herself, but as she grows in coaching, I want her to hear her own voice. And I think she will when she gets a little more comfortable every day, because she is a legend. I mean, she's Simone Augustus.
Absolutely. I was talking to Kramer, and he said you dress a little bit more like an attorney this year, a little more business-like. Now, at the end, you broke out, as your players would say, the Michael Jackson outfit. But was there any effort to be a little less sparkly this year, or that's just the way it went?
Look, I wear what they bring to me. I really don't have much choice. So the cardigans, a lot of people didn't like the cardigans, I've been told, but it's what they left. I wore it.
See, people connect things. Well, now that Angel Reese left, she's dressing
oh
less
my
flag,
goodness. No. I've always wanted to dress nice, and I always have. Even going back to my Louisiana Tech days, I used to wear skirts and dresses. Then when I became a head coach, I squat too much on that sideline, so the dresses had to go. But at Baylor, it was, I wore a lot of Worth clothes. I don't even know if Worth is in existence anymore. But their clothes I just liked them. And then when I came here, the sparkle stuff, honestly, it just started by accident and being talked into doing it. And I can't stop it. I've tried to stop it. I've tried to say no. And I guess what tugged at my heart was, Coach, people are coming to the games to see what you're wearing. And it's people that would never, ever support LSU or support women's basketball. And I thought, well, I can be a team player. And if that's what I need to do, I'll do it.
Yeah, that horse is out of the barn.
Yes, I guess so.
Can't get it back. You were a little sick this year. You feel good? I mean, was it kind of a rough year for your health in terms of colds and stuff?
No, nothing health-wise was bad. Nothing other than probably colds here and there. But my heart is good. The stents I have, I check that regularly. I have my carotid arteries checked regularly because I do have blocked arteries, and that's not going to go away. That's something that you better stay on top of. And so anyway, I still walk every day, and I still eat terrible. But I tell people, I've never had a drink in my life. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. So if I want to have a Barks root beer in a bottle for breakfast, or if I want to have a Coke for breakfast, I don't want to hear it. Okay, I do have some things that are not healthy, but I like to eat.
Yeah. Well, you've done a good job of connecting with women about getting their hearts checked.
Right,
because
I do.
If you judge a book by its cover, you say Kim Mulkey was an Olympian. She played women's basketball. She's not overweight. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. Where could there be a problem?
Well, I blame it on it's hereditary. My mother has a lot of the same stuff, if not more.
But she's still here.
But she's still here because she was in the, the medical industry, and she always got checked. And so a lot of what I have, I blame it on my mom because she has the same issues. And it probably doesn't matter what I eat. It really probably doesn't. But I do go to see the doctors regularly to stay on top of it.
and the other day I meet Karen McCord. I say I meet her, I've known her for a while. Karen McCord is the mother of Carly McCord, who was a sportscaster, sports reporter here. She unfortunately tragically passed in the plane crash that was going to the LSU Oklahoma playoff game in 2019. And she said, I might have been one of the only people in Louisiana who didn't really know a whole lot about Kim Mulkey. Somebody had convinced her to start following women's basketball that year. It'd be good for you, be a good escape, good release for you. She goes to the coaches show at TJ Ribbs, and you got a little background on her and losing Carly, and you had some loss in your own life with your daughter and what had happened there during her pregnancy. And she said, she spoke to me for 15, 20 minutes. And there was a big line behind me. I said, Coach, but we need to move this along. You said, those people can wait.
Well, when she introduced herself, the last name rung a bell. And so I asked her if that was her daughter. And she teared up and she told me yes. And I said, well, I know the Insminger family. Steve coached at Louisiana Tech when I was there, and his son married Carly. And I just told her what I knew of her daughter's death, and that I didn't even know my granddaughter and how difficult that was to hold a dead baby that she'd never even got to know. And so we just talked, because I have found that everybody has really the same things happen in their lives. And the best therapy for me is to talk about it. Some people don't want to talk. It's kind of like they want to erase it. I feel like when you talk about it, it helps you deal with it. And so we just talked, and that's how I met her, absolutely. And she just recently wrote a book and left it on my desk, and I saw it the other day and sent her a thank you note in the mail. Didn't do email, don't do all that. Do the old-fashioned write the note. But we all really have the same problems in our lives. We just don't realize it.
Well, I'll tell you on camera, I really appreciate it. It was one of the cool moments of my life that I went out to my mail one day, and I had a postcard from LSU women's basketball, and it was a handwritten note from you congratulating on me for being named Louisiana Sportscaster of the Year that year. And I said, well, this is how cool is it that this Hall of Fame coach took time to write me a note? And so my mom came by one day, and as one of my Christmas presents, she got it framed. And so it's in my office now.
Wow. Well, Jacques, I appreciate you telling that, because people think that I just don't like the media. What I don't like about the media is lies. I don't like sensationalism. I like the facts and the truth. But I do that. I recognize quickly the people in the media who are darn good journalists. It doesn't take you long. Ron Higgins just recently had hip surgery. I sent him a basket of fruit. I don't tell you that to pat me on the back. I tell you that because I go back to what you said earlier. I'm just that little country girl that was raised with manners. And when people hurt and you know them, you reach out to them in some way. When people do good in their profession, what better thing than a handwritten note? When people need a lift, what better thing than to lift them up? That's what I would say I do that people don't know, and I really don't care if they know. It doesn't bother me one bit, because it's real, it's who I am. And my circle is very small. I don't let many in my circle because of trust issues. And it's not just trust issues because I'm a coach. It's trust issues on things that have happened to you in your life. From a divorce, anything like that can make you have trust issues. And so just try to be a good person and raise your kids the right way, treat people the right way. You're not perfect. You're not going to make all the right decisions in a game, but own your mistakes. I think one of the hardest things that I've had to do is watch people when they are wrong say, my bad, I was wrong. I have no problem doing it. I have done it so many times in my coaching career in a locker room. And I think that makes your players realize she's human. And the second thing that is just so, I don't know if I'll ever get over this. People lie. I've always said for years the biggest problem in our country is lying. People just lie. And that just disturbs me. I mean, I just don't understand why people lie. And if I could just say, clean up anything in this country, sure, we've got a lot of things. We've got a lot of warts we need to get rid of. But I just don't understand how we've just lie all the time.
Well, there's certain things that get posted now, and they come from independent sources or independent networks or whatever, and I almost think that we're going to put this out. It's a lie, but if a lot of people believe it, great, and if they don't, there's no accountability to it. No one gets it.
You have no accountability. You're talking about social media, which I don't see it unless somebody shares it with me. But your accountability is looking in that mirror at night at yourself. That's my accountability. When I lay my head on my pillow, did I do more good today for this world than I did bad? Did I do something that hurt somebody? Are you hurting people when you put out social media lies or half-truths or something to get a click? To me, that's internal. That's internal on who you are.
Happy in Baton Rouge?
Oh, Lord, this has been so easy. I mean, this is home. I grew up 40 minutes from here, and to see people that I grew up with buying LSU tickets that aren't even LSU fans. We're all grayer, we're all more wrinkled, we're all fatter, but we're all alive, right? And it's fun to see a lot of people embrace our program. Yeah. And whether it's because they grew up with me or proud of me, it doesn't matter to me. But it's been a joy to be back here, and I certainly hope that it has been worth LSU investing in our program, because it seems to be a lot of fun for everybody.
I always tell people, I don't care if LSU's playing Antarctica State, I'm going to go, because Kim Mulkey may talk about Toby Keith in the post-game press conference.
I could.
Could talk about, who knows what. Who's going to win the Heisman?
That's right. I just, I like singing. I like music. I think music does your heart good. And I'm not just a country music person. That's what's funny, is that it's always country music I sing a lot of. But I'll do oldies, and I love gospel. Listen, you come over here and I've got that old time religion going, and I love gospel music. But music just makes me feel good. Whether it's a sad song, whether it's a happy song, it makes me feel good.
Yeah. I joked with Starkey that you have a little, hear me out, you have a little bit of Dolly Parton. And the fact that you're both blonde, country, now you kind of play that up a tad, but you're both the smartest people in the room.
Well, I think that's a compliment.
It is.
Dolly Parton, Porter Wagner. I can go way back with you now. You probably don't even remember those days.
Well, I know that was I Will Always Love You. She wrote it for him.
That's right. But I can remember the show.
Oh, the show.
I can remember the show. So I can start naming some oldies for you there. But thank you for that comment.
Well, she said, people say that's Whitney's song. She says, that's fine. Give her the credit. Just give me the cash.
There you go. Smart lady. Smart lady.
Okay, let's end here. Talk to me about Flau'jae and Michaela. They're your two shining stars that will carry you into next year, that are both very special young ladies. And
well, let's start with Flau'jae. You're going to... very rarely are you going to see kids stay 4 years at a college anymore. Flau'jae will be in her fourth year, her senior year. When we recruited Flau'jae, we were new here. We were new. What do we sell this young lady who's a McDonald's All-American to get her to come and help us jumpstart this program? We sold her, hey, you can do your rap and also play basketball. A lot of people didn't offer that to her. They didn't think she could do it. I thought it was great that Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Louisiana, South Louisiana, we got rappers. Okay, she knew all that. I think the second thing we sold to her was the opportunity to play in the SEC and to play early. You don't tell a kid you're going to get this many minutes or that you're going to start. But this is an opportunity for you to be that first one that comes and set the tone for others. We didn't know at that time we were going to get people in the portal. And I think Flau'jae and her parents followed my career at Baylor, and they believed in what we were going to do here. And I'm forever indebted to that young lady because we didn't have much to sell to her other than me, the area, and you can do your rap. And she came, and her freshman year, we win the national championship because we were able to get people in the portal. And then for her to stay all 4 years.
Which is not a given, obviously.
No, it's never a given this day and age. So Flau'jae is worked really hard at both her basketball and her rap music. And dang, she's good at both. But the number of hours that she spends on both, I don't even know how you have that many hours in a day. So Michaela Williams stayed home when she could have gone anywhere in the country. And she stayed home because as you get to know her, there's nothing pretentious about Michaela. She grew up in Bossier. She loves her family. She has a grandmother in Little Rock, a grandmother in Sulphur, Lake Charles area. She loves her home state. And she saw things happening as we were recruiting her, and she knew, gosh, why do I have to go far away when I can get that right here and her family can see her play? And Michaela and Flau'jae, I don't think there are two finer people out there in that generation, but two better basketball players, kind of like bookends, right? You got one on this side and one on this side when you come down the floor. And for them to want to play together, I'm the lucky one. I'm the lucky one to be able to coach them, and then this coaching staff recruited them and got them here.
And Michaela's from Bossier. Don't say Shreveport. I learned that the hard way. At least
That's
one time.
right. And how about when we went to Bossier to take her back home, that place was sold out.
That's right. Grambling, when you played them.
Yes, it was sold out. So that tells you how much of an impact she has on this state and how much she is loved.
That was the Cannon press conference, your grandson.
Oh, yes, yes.
Post-game, he had his hand up the whole time.
He wanted us to ask him a question, and we never did.
Oh, okay. Now I understand what
Yes, he wanted y'all to,
ask.
know,
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I thought he was going to ask you a question. He has his hand up. But.
No.
Coach, thanks so much for your time.
Jacques, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us in your home today. Kim Mulkey, what a conversation. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later.